Does anybody remember the GPU apocalypse? The thing was a nightmare, especially if you were a budget PC builder or trying to get into PC gaming. I mean, the whole crypto mining and a whole bunch of other things that happened just made buying a graphics card nearly impossible. I mean, graphics cards appreciated in value. That's crazy. I saw graphics cards that were initially going for like $300 to $400, going for $1,000 and everything, and the whole scalping, and it was a nightmare. It really hurt the hustle. And a lot of you guys like me probably have PTSD from that, but then again, have things gotten better? Yes and no. I mean, let's look at graphics cards now. The 5000 series is going for like a 5090 is like what, 4 to 5 grand for the high end, 3000, and then the 5080 is almost 1800 to 2000. I mean, it's just ridiculous with graphics cards. But at least now we can get budget, cheaper, friendly graphics cards and still build a budget gaming PC. Now, during the graphics apocalypse or GPU apocalypse, I didn't have a lot of options. I had a lot of computers that I was getting motherboards, CPUs, building complete systems, but I did not have graphics cards. And to put a graphics card in there, I would have had to pay upwards of $300 to $400 for a graphics card for a computer that was probably only worth about $200 to $300. And then even then, it was so hard to sell it to recoup that money. So now I'm selling a computer for $700 only because I overpaid for a graphics card. So that was not gonna work. But the savior for me during the GPU apocalypse were workstation graphics cards. And believe it or not, yes, they're not gaming graphics cards, but they were gaming capable, and they were enough to get people's feet wet, get started, and then eventually as things calmed down, customers were able to come back, do upgrades and say, hey, we're ready to get a graphics card, and we were able to get them a graphics card for about $100, upgrade their GPU, and they were good to go. And I have a lot of people that came back later after doing that. To me, the savior of the GPU apocalypse as far as being able to put gaming capable graphics cards, and I mean gaming capable like 1080p low settings at that, 60 frames per second, were the Quadros. The Quadro K2000 was my favorite. I was still able to get it for $20 to $30. And what it was that, you know, they were not for mining. That's what everybody was looking for, mining graphics cards. And then even from the K2000, AMD's Fire Pros, the W4100 and the W5100, and actually those graphics cards performed really well. And I got videos on the Quadros and the Fire Pros, so if you're interested on how well they performed, I did video a couple of years on those. I'll post a link if you're interested on that. So with all that being said, the Quadros, they hold a special place in my heart, because if it wasn't for these Quadros that really the miners and the scalpers didn't have an interest with, I would have had a lot of computers just sitting around, and it would have definitely hurt the hustle. So I got a Quadro on the bench. Let's dive into it. Let's look at it. Let's see what it does, and I'll tell you the story behind it. Now, a viewer reached out to me several weeks ago, and I've been buying PC parts for him. So you know who you are. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. He's been giving me a hookup with some great deals, and it's been really helping me to, number one, produce content, but also get a couple of flips out that I needed parts for. So during our conversation, he mentioned that he had some Quadros, and I was like, I'm interested because number one, I need it for a project that I'm working on, and number two, well, initially I had a family member who needed a Quadro graphics card because they're doing CAD stuff and all that type of stuff. They had a cheap one. Actually, they might have had an M4000 now I think about it. But anyways, and I wanted to get them something better. But you know how family is, impatient, can't wait sometimes. That family member went ahead and actually got themselves something a little better than this, but now I'm stuck with two of these graphics cards. So I might have to offset one of them, but the other one I am putting in for another project for myself. I might do a video on that, not sure, but I am going to do a video on this, as you can see. So what do we have? So we have a Quadro RTX 4000. Let's go over the specs real quick. So the Quadro RTX 4000 released back in November 13th, 2018, and at launch cost about $900. And I'll post on the screen the inflation price. It's a single slot design, 160 watt TDP, and suggested power supply rating was about 450 watts, and it only uses one 8-pin connector. 8 gigs of GDDR6, 3 DisplayPort, and a USB-C. So now this is not a bad little card. I like the fact that they're single slot designs. I mean, yeah, they're a little noisy because they have the blower cooler, and we're going to open this up fresh thermal paste, all that type stuff, and then I'll talk about why we're doing that in just a sec. But like I said, workstation GPUs, they are not optimized. They're not ideal for gaming, but they're just more optimized for professional applications, you know, like 3D modeling, CAD, animation, video editing, a whole bunch of scientific stuff that I can't explain. So they have their purpose. And a funny story, years ago, I had a buddy of mine, he actually worked for a company that he had to do that type of CAD animation stuff. I mean, whatever that stuff is, before they switched to the whole remote work from home thing, he used to game on a lot of these Quadros, not specifically this model, but they would get the top of the line Quadro for that year, and they were capable of playing games. So on his lunch break and downtime, he'd go ahead and game. He was big into gaming and all that type of stuff. But eventually, the company switched to where they can work at home. So now he doesn't game on a Quadro. On his downtime, he games on his main rig. But I mean, it was pretty cool the fact that you had such, such a powerful graphics card for that type of work that could still, play a game or two. So I tested both these graphics cards, 82 and then 93 on the hotspot. Yes, I know it's a blower card, but considering that we're on the open bench, I think that's a little toasty. Maybe that's how it runs. I'm not 100% sure on that. Never dealt with these. Let me know in the comments your experience with the temperatures with these cards. But either way, considering that these cards appear that they've never been opened, which is awesome. I'd rather have a card like that. Unless it's free and it's been tampered with, then I'll take those cards. But anyways, let's dive into it and let's try to figure this out. So the M4000 was not fun to take apart, so hopefully this one, is a little more DLM friendly. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't easy compared to most cards. I think the worst card I ever took apart was actually the 3080 Founders Edition. That card is a nightmare. But I heard the 20 series Founders Edition was worse. Definitely let me know in the comment with that one. Oh, nice. Little cover, could spray paint that, put something cool on there. Considering the dust, not bad. I've seen a lot worse. Now, once again, like the M4000, if you got to watch that video when I took it apart, has all those cables just soldered right over here, which is, I mean, I guess it works. It's just a little more aggravating to take apart. Where's that card at? This is the M4000. Yeah, same thing. Soldered right there, connector right over there. I mean, these cards they're pretty much identical in sizes now that I look about it. Yeah, identical sizes. Probably similar coolers. Let's look at the back. Subtle differences. So the coolers are different. I mean, that is a lot of screws just for this I/O cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't even see that many for dual slot cards. All right, and let's take out all 37,000 of these screws here. So as you can see, thermal paste, junk. Just look at this stuff. I mean, what, 2018, 7-year-old card? Well, almost 7-year-old card. This is actually not that bad. It's pretty clean in here, so thermal pads look decent. We're just gonna run that as is for now. If there is an issue, we'll go back and change them and do all that type of stuff. But like I've said from my experience, rarely do I have thermal pads go bad that I have to replace them. And besides, this card is for me anyways. As you can see, a lot better, good as new. So let's put some fresh thermal paste on this, put this thing back together. I'll do that off camera. Fire this thing up, make sure it works, stress test it, and see what games it could play. Let's set up our test bench. This is a Ryzen 7 5700? I think so. Pretty sure. If I'm wrong, we'll find out when we log in. So Ryzen 7 5700, I think it's 32 gigs of DDR4 3200. And this has actually been a good test bench. MATX, it's the MSI, the Mortar. I think this is a B550 board. And a 1 terabyte M.2 NVMe. I think Crucial is the flavor, if I'm not mistaken. Did I screw up? And does it work? Let's find out. We got power. Now do we have video? Come on. Oh, it's looking good. Let's get some drivers installed, make sure we're updated, and we'll start stressing. The graphics card, that is, not me. So 12 minutes in, we're running Furmark, and temperatures look a lot better. So 78 degrees Celsius on the GPU temp, GPU hotspot 89. I think we were at, and let me pull it up, 82 and 93. So we got a 4-degree improvement. The fan is running at a low speed, so if it ramps up a little more, our temperatures could get a little lower. But obviously, better thermal paste, better temperatures. Card is running solid, so we're good to go. Now, for the sake of curiousness and what we do on the channel, let's game. Folks, you'd be proud of me. Upgraded the setup. Got this Logitech M185 mouse, because typically when I do these demonstration of gaming, I get destroyed. Number one, I'm not the best at gaming, but number two, using that little, trackpad right over here, definitely not ideal. But anyways, moving on. The Last of Us, 1080p, medium settings, just sitting here. We're at 111, 110 frames per second. We'll probably get a drop to about 80. So not bad at all. This plays actually really good. No stutters. And I'm sure if we go 1080p high settings, it's actually gonna look a lot better. We'll probably get 70 frames per second in this thing like this, but this is a very good gaming experience considering we're playing a Quadro, which is not for gaming. Folks, I'm impressed, I will say. So let's run through, let's find out this guy who is trying to get rid of me. Where you at? Buddy, where you at? Come on, come on. Bit him. Yes. Bye. Oh. Well, as you can see, like I said, even with the mouse, there's no hope for my gaming skills. But awesome experience with a Quadro. So our next game, Cyberpunk. 1080p, medium settings. Because I like to have a good balance of, performance and also the quality of how the game looks. And so far, we're looking pretty good. 90 frames per second, maybe average. And I like to run the benchmark because it's a lot easier. And I don't enjoy playing this game as one would think. But anyways, so far this Quadro is impressing me. I mean, it does have 8 gigs of DDR6. Even though it's a 7-year-old card, it's still running good. And 1080p is just, it's still there. If you're looking for budget gaming, and we'll talk about the price on this card because that's kind of what kills it a little bit. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But I mean, 1080p, playing games like this, we're doing pretty good. So let's finish this up. Let's see what the benchmark shows us and where we land. Benchmarks finish, 106 frames per second average, our minimum 87 frames per second. But considering it would be a good playable experience and during the benchmark, no stutter, so I'm happy with it. So first things first, address the elephant in the room because I know people are gonna mention this in the comments. Yes, my test bench is not activated. I need to get a key for it. Honestly, it works. I've never had an issue. It's been like that probably for 6 months. Not sure if they're gonna force me to activate it. I could deal with the little watermark on that. It doesn't bother me. I'd rather save the $20 for now. So yes, it's not activated. It doesn't affect my use or benching on that. So maybe one day I'll do it, maybe not, who knows. But back into the Quadro card, the RTX 4000, it performs pretty good. 1080p medium settings, it's able to play it, has play most games, plenty of VRAM. I mean, 8 gigs is probably the new standard, but then again, might be more now. Let me know in the comments. But still, it works really good. Now, as far as the price, it is a little steep. $250 is what these things go for. And honestly, you're paying more for the workstation, that type of stuff versus a gaming card. Now, if you want a gaming card that's equivalent to that, probably the RTX 2080 is the better bang to go for that. I think this is equivalent to like a 2070 from what I read. Not 100% sure on that. But those cards, the 2070, they just fluctuate all over eBay from about $160 to $220. So they're in the same price range. But if you're looking for a card for workstation, obviously this is the way to go. If you're looking for a budget card to get a little bit of both worlds, it's still the way to go. But if you're looking for a gaming graphics card, obviously the 2070 is the better bang for the buck on that. My purpose, because as cheap as I got it for and as cheap as they am going for, I'm using this to learn, so it's a good starter for me. And just like any other graphics card, take it apart, dust it out, clean it. Yes, I did dust it out. I just didn't show that on camera, but fresh thermal paste obviously made a difference, 4 degrees Celsius, which is good to go. With all that being said, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms. What are your thoughts on these Quadro cards? Which one do you recommend, which would have a good bang for the buck, price to performance, plus how well it performs for the designated use? And with the insane prices of graphics cards now, what are your plans? What are you rocking? I'm still rocking my 3090 Ti, and I probably will hold on to that for as long as I can until my gaming performance starts tanking. But I tell you this right now, it's still holding solid. If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.